Unless I'm sitting in your seat, you laugh. I can sit over there if he wants to sit here.
Yes, there it is. How's that? No. Right there. Brought him
Right here. You just need one signature? You just need one?
Yeah.
Is that your card? pledge of allegiance.
United States of America,
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tom Hickey,
Here.
Rolf Reese,
Here.
Joe Michaels,
Here.
Keith Johnson, Gary Guglielmetti.
Here.
Thank you. We're here to have a public hearing, Hanover Farms area variance public hearing for property located on 5200 Route 28, Mount Tremper, New York. Gina, if you could read the notice.
Legal notice. Notice is hereby given that the Town of Shandaken Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing at 7 p.m. on May 8, 2014 at the Town Hall of Shandaken, Town Hall Building, 7209 Route 28, Shandaken, New York, on application of Hanover Farms for area variances from the following sections of the Town of Shandaken zoning law: 114-40T1 and 2, 116-16B2, and the schedule of bulk and area requirements for the R1.5 district. Said area variances seek relief from setback and use area limitations and are required in connection with Hanover Farms' request to operate a farm stand on premises located at 5200 Route 28, Mount Tremper, New York, tax map parcel 2.15-1-71.200. All persons interested in such applications are invited to attend the public hearing and be heard at that time. Communications in writing in relation to this application may be mailed to the Zoning Board of Appeals in Town Hall and may be reviewed by any interested person. By order of the Shandaken Zoning Board of Appeals, Tom Hickey, Chair, Gina Kermavash-Barta, Clerk.
Gina, do we have any correspondence? I think we got one letter.
Yes, I received one letter on May 5th from a Mrs. Joan Finch, Shandaken Zoning Board of Appeals. I would like to see Hanover Farms open again. We travel from Mount Marion to get fresh vegetables and fruit. Also, they employ so many that need a job close to home. Sincerely, Joan Herdman Finch.
Thank you. I understand there was a little confusion with the notice to the
Abutters.
so we can put that off just a little bit until a little later. And before we open this to public comment, I'd just like to say a few things. As noted, this is a public hearing with respect to the application from Hanover Farms. If you have not already signed up to speak and you wish to speak, please sign up. We will call your names to speak from the list in the order of sign up. Please state your name and your residence clearly at the start of your remarks. Please use the microphone that's set up in the middle of the hall, the alley there, the aisle there, and limit your comments to 2 minutes, and please address the ZBA only. Please remember that this is not about the convenience of the establishment in question, but rather about the variances the applicant will need to operate within the law. If someone else has made a point that you would like to make, or please simply state that your points have already been made. We also expect that this will be a civil hearing, so please respect what your neighbors have to say, even if you disagree. And I would also ask that there is no dialogue between members of the audience. Wait your turn, please, and then come to the mic to speak. And we appreciate your cooperation. Gina, who do we have first to come up?
Mr. Chairman, I just want to thank everybody. Folks, I just want to thank everybody for being here tonight. I know you took it out of your busy schedule, and all you mothers, happy Mother's Day. Thanks again for coming. I really appreciate it. We really appreciate it. Thank you. You're welcome.
Looks like it says UConn.
Yes.
Wait,
Yeah, right there.
Thank you.
Hello, my name's Yukon, and I've been living in the area for 20 years in Mount Tremper on Plank Road. I don't know a better neighbor than Al. He's the epitome of a good neighbor, and he's been extremely generous to me. And you know, the little corner store there is like a beacon in the area. It's like a landmark as far as I'm concerned. It's been there, what, about 6 years now? 11 years. There we go. About 11 years, and every time I'm coming back from New York City, or every time I'm coming back to Kingston, it's tremendous to have a store that you can go to, that you can get fresh vegetables, and if you want at 11 o'clock at night. I really miss this place, miss Al and Alfie. I think it's tremendous for the community, and I'm hoping that this gets resolved so that we can have this wonderful store back again. Thank you very much.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Shay, and I live on Plank Road in Mount Tremper. And Al has been a very good neighbor to me. I feel like that it's important to have a process where he can reopen the farm stand, for people in the community to not have to drive a 50-mile round trip to get fresh produce. He's a place that accepts food stamps. In addition to just providing a place that's open sort of at all hours. And he's just been a very generous neighbor in the community, and I want to really support his application to sort of reopen the farm stand. Thank you very much.
Meg Ample.
Hi, I recognize our community as the kind of community that has wide ranges of opinions. But the people coming up from the city, they don't have to see that so much. When they get to Al's, they see community. And Al's really reflects a sense of country community that I think enhances our little tourist niche that we have going here that we work so hard for. And I think people in the city recognize you don't have to drive 6 hours to get this. You can just drive 2 hours, and here you are, an authentic country corner freestanding market. And they can get their cheeses, and they get their fresh pies and everything else. And I don't think anything compares to their hospitality and courtesy to the people around. And I love driving by and seeing all the people coming up on the weekend, and the Orthodox Jews are getting out, and everybody's getting out to get their corn and stuff. And I think that's really important, and I hope we can put aside our differences and recognize Al's adds charm to our sometimes charmless environment here, and we should really try and keep it. Thank you.
If when you come up, please state your name, the community.
I'm sorry.
Your address.
Your, sorry?
Their place of residence.
Place of residence.
Chichester.
Okay, thank you.
Louis Pol, I'm sorry, I can't read this. Polmarini.
I come from Westchester County. I worked on it for 32 years, and I bought my place up here 30 years ago. I live in Hog Mountain Circle. I always stop on this place on the way up, on the way home. I buy stuff. You cannot get any better quality vegetable, fruit. He's got it. Hanover Farm, I think, should open up again. We know the reason at all you shouldn't open, because it's a great place to buy stuff and everything else. So I urge you people, I mean, I'm not holding a gun on nobody. This place should be open. I thank you.
Martin Natoli.
Hi, I'm from Baldwin, New York, Long Island.
Yeah, please proceed.
Pardon me?
Please proceed.
I feel that Al provides a public service. He's open 24 hours. When you come up from Long Island, get here at 10 o'clock at night on Friday, buy the things that you need for morning breakfast. One thing I had a thought about, has there ever been a motion to amend the existing zoning laws? I don't know where the conflict arises. I haven't been at one of these meetings before, but what are the restrictions? What is it, the size of his space?
We will defer to our attorney, and he can explain that to you. Larry?
It's a great question. And it frames the meeting tonight, actually, because this is a zoning board of appeals. The purpose of this board is to consider requests for uses, either the way they're built or the actual use of the premises, which are contrary to the zoning laws of the town. Okay, so the issue here of a farm stand, there has been a recent amendment to the town code, which actually helped this particular situation. Notwithstanding, there are still variances from the zoning law that this particular application requires. In fact, there are 5 variances that are required. The type of variances that are required are what we refer to as area variances. In other words, that there are deviations from what we call the bulk and area regulations of the zoning law. Things like how big your yard should be, how far a building must be set back, how much square footage can be covered on a particular lot. All of those things are issues in this particular hearing. These guys are bound by the state law and town law to consider certain factors in whether to grant this variance or not. They cannot deviate themselves from the consideration of those factors. Some of those include things like how substantial the variance being requested is, how much, meaning how different is it from what the actual zoning in the town says. Another is there any kind of adverse impact on the neighborhood? Is it out of the community character? All those kinds of things they have to consider. So they're listening to all of your comments with respect to that. So it's not just something that is simply going back and amending the code, particularly here since the code was recently amended to address this specific issue. But notwithstanding that, as I said, there's still variations that they require in order to do that. This is not a typical situation, because this is, in a typical situation, you're dealing with this before something is constructed. Okay? Here something is already constructed, and now we're trying to, as someone used the word resolution, we're trying to reach the resolution in order to see if it can meet the requirements to allow it to continue, notwithstanding the deviations from the zoning law. So I hope that gives everybody some background.
I understand it's at the variance stage. Has there ever been any motions to amend the existing laws How far does it get? Is it a matter of square footage? I know there's other considerations, but have there been any motions to increase that size?
Yeah, respectfully, I thought I answered that, but yes, there was just recently an amendment that actually, if you look at it, liberalized the ability for a farm stand to operate, and I believe increased the square footage permitted than was otherwise would otherwise.
What was the existing?
But now they're not. The town just went through that process.
I see.
Okay.
It went through.
It went through that process.
It was
yeah.
approved.
And it was approved. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
Tina Rice.
Hello everyone, my name is Tina Rice. I live in Woodland Valley and I frequent the farm stand 2 or 3 times a day. I love those guys. However, we know that there's rules and regulations that every business in the town of Shandaken has to follow. No one is above those laws. And I know it's up to you guys to make sure everyone follows those rules. And the town has already changed those laws to try to help Hanover Farms come into compliance with the law. A lot of people are here. I'm in full support of the farm stand. A lot of people don't realize that this lawsuit was filed by Hanover Farms to the town, not vice versa. So that's costing us taxpayers in excess of $70,000. Now, I love those guys and I want to see them back open, but we have to come to a happy medium somewhere. So, thank you.
Kurt Boyer.
Kurt Boyer, live up 28, 6375 Route 28, Finch, New York. Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt of how great the farm stand is and what a value it is to our community, and also what a value, how much they give back to all the organizations and PTA and so many different things, and the people they employ. I would like to see the zoning board work with the Hanover Farms to come to make the changes that will make it legal again to be open. I thought I understood from the lawsuit that they were never allowed to operate again. I mean, isn't that what it kind of said in the town? No? Okay.
No. The lawsuit simply said that they cannot continue to operate until they come into compliance with the zoning.
Okay.
So it did not say they could never operate again.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. So I hope you will do your best to help them comply and listen to that lawyer. Thanks.
Maxine, do you want to be heard?
Sure, why not?
I'm in agreement with pretty much everything that everybody has said.
State your name and address.
Oh, sorry, thank you. Maxine Resnick, Park Road, Chichester. I also wanted to just thank Al publicly for all of the support you have given to this community, and you know, my involvement with Ontario, he's just done a tremendous amount. But I do agree with Tina that there are rules, and so what I think we're struggling with here, and I'm sure I'm not the only one a little bit ambivalent about this, is that we have had this zoning law, and the farm stand operated in, you know, out of that zoning law. So I think it would be helpful to understand the reasoning behind the zoning law as it is, or as it has now been amended. But what is the point of that law? And then in your decision, were you to support the farm stand, what precedent are you setting for all of the other businesses, some of which we may not like, some of which may not be community supporters? But that would be my concern, you know, what happens down the entire corridor. I assume there was some valid thinking in creating the zoning law in the first place, so I'd like to better understand. Thank you.
Winograd, Elizabeth.
7039 Route 28, Shandaken, and I am totally in support of the farm, and I understand the issue that we are facing here. However, we need to look a little bit beyond it. I mean, the laws were created so the community can function well. And I mean, the farm added to our better functioning. So maybe we should really overlook it a little, or maybe just transcend it and really reopen the farm. I mean, I really see it as a very simple issue. We can make it as complex as we want to, but it really comes down to the happiness of the community. And I think the amount of people who showed up here, and I think pretty much everybody is in support of it. I didn't hear any voice against it. I mean, should really convince the board to overlook arrogance of Al when he enlarged the farm, but he felt he was doing such a great job, and he is, that I mean, I am totally with him, and I miss him. And I mean, if I run out, I run a business.